of hearing from this great man time and time before. And every time I hear him, I mean, every time I have at least 2 to 3 pages of notes. Yes, Miss Joyce Easley, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So if you are ready to hear some very powerful information, you are in the right place. And also, I see my VIPs are here. Hello, everybody. Our community is showing up and showing out again. I love it. Thank you guys so very much for being here. Now, as you guys come on in, please type your name and where you are from in the chat box. That way I get a chance to tell everybody who is here on the cool kids side with us. And if you have the opportunity, please turn on your cameras. One of the best parts about us meeting on a Zoom call like this is that we get a chance to see all your faces and all those wonderful smiles. So I'm going to go ahead and start saying hello to everyone so we can hurry up and hear from the professor. First up, I see the lovely Miss Janine Curran is here with us. Namaste, beautiful. How are you? Mwah. Thank you so very much for being here with us this evening. Of course, there is the beautiful Empress herself. I'm talking about Miss Catherine Clement. Hi, baby. How are you? It is always good to see you. Thank you so very much for being here. Mwah. I see we also have the beautiful Miss Iveta. Hi, Sunshine. How are you? Thank you so very much for being here with us. It's always good to see you, Queen. I also see there's the lovely Miss Delgado. Hello, love. How are you? Thank you so much for being here. Of course, there is the man of the hour himself, Professor Oscar Sistrunk. Professor, thank you so very much for being here with us this evening. We are honored. I see my good friend Elton's here. Hi, Elton. I see the beautiful Miss Joyce Easley is here. Hello, my angel. How are you? Thank you so much for being here. It is always good to see you, baby. I see the lovely Miss Janelle Appling is here. Hello, Queen. How are you? Okay, you guys, it looks like we are at the top of the hour. So we're going to go ahead and get this party started. Again, thank each and every one of you for being here for our February edition of the ILCA 5-Day Challenge. My name is your Queen Connectress, Miss Marnita Casa, and I am your humble hostess for this evening. Now, it is my honor to introduce you all to a man that for over 25 years dominated the direct sales industry. His cryptocurrency education is used by companies and universities worldwide. For over 8 years, he dedicated his life to learning about blockchain technology and cryptocurrency, but he didn't just stop there. He decided to go out, share his information with the masses, and he did this by putting on fun and exciting Bitcoin boot camps nationwide at no cost. He has built thriving communities and wonderful platforms like you see before you now. So without further ado, it is my honor to introduce you all to Mr. Brandon Ivey.
All right, all right. Thank you for that introduction, Miss Casa, and being back, our hostess for this evening. Welcome, welcome, everybody. This is now day 3. Pat yourselves on the back if you've been here from Monday, Tuesday, and you learned enough information that you want to be back here for another day, for day 3. Tonight is special for 2 reasons. One, because I'm going to introduce you guys to my former professor from my alma mater, Morehouse College. He hasn't been back with us for maybe more than 6 or 7 months. And the second reason is because I'm teaching a class tonight that I've never covered before. So I'm a little nervous about it. Well, what is decentralization? So we're going to be doing that tonight as well. So in the sake of time, let's jump on into this. So on Monday, we had what is the blockchain. On Tuesday, we also had what is or how do cryptocurrencies work. But tonight, I am honored to bring up to speak with you guys for a couple of minutes a man that I have a lot of respect for, not only because he is my alumni, Morehouse College graduate from class of 1978, and my former professor, but also Brother Oscar Sistrunk is also in the real estate industry. He's a real estate professor. He's been a Morehouse College professor since 1980. and is still teaching there now. He's been investing in real estate. He's been on multiple podcasts. He's sought after as one of the first professors of Morehouse to be talking about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. He's really big on understanding what the Bitcoin halving means, what it means to be involved in DeFi, decentralized finance, and making real estate purchases with crypto, leading the way on that. So I want to bring to the table my brother, my professor, Oscar Sistrunk.
Hey, how are you doing there, Mr. Ivey?
Fantastic. It's good to see you. It's good to see you.
Oh, same here. It's great to be have you invite me in. I enjoy it every time and look forward to it. So what I'll do is talk quickly and then I can turn it back over to you.
Yes, sir. The
One
floor is
thing,
yours. What you want to share with
okay.
us?
Well, first of all, to kind of give you, he gave you kind of a background, but I started talking about and teaching crypto in my classes all the way back in 2014. Back when Bitcoin was $68 a coin. And we're kind of talking to my students about it. And I didn't know if it was a scam or what this thing was. Of course, since then, I've learned quite a bit. And I didn't really begin to invest myself until 2019. But because even though I would talked about it for a few years, once I saw my first Bitcoin ATM machine, and saw that Bitcoin had moved up in value to $3,000, I figured, oh, it's time to get in. This thing might really be something. And if so, we're going to talk about DeFi. As a matter of fact, tomorrow I'm giving an evening lecture on cryptocurrency and real estate and DeFi and how it's used to some people may have heard of this acronym called RWA, real world assets. When we remember, we're still very early in this crypto revolution, as I said. So we still have plenty of time. Usually I show students old videos from the 90s about the internet and what people thought the internet was. And there were people who thought the internet was a scam. And what's the use of an internet? So now here we are with cryptocurrency, and I see the same thing. And I think cryptocurrency is leading the way to a big revolution. When you add in AI and robots, I mean, the future is just around the corner. So understanding cryptocurrency, I think, is very important. As I said, I used it in January of 2022 to actually buy a rental property. And I'll be, again, giving a lecture tomorrow evening about that over at Morehouse. But for basically for this discussion, I want to kind of do an overview. So one of the things I really want to talk about is people ask me a lot about the crypto price. And this is hard for some people to understand, but cryptocurrency, and I happen to be a person that invests in Ethereum. And I tell people the difference between Bitcoin and that blockchain and Ethereum and their blockchain is, think of it like Bitcoin is a savings account and Ethereum is like a checking account, because Ethereum actually handles contracts, right? So you can actually put a contract on the block and the Ethereum block, and you kind of get these smart contracts that will kind of like have an if-then statement. If you do this, then this will happen. And that allows you to do a lot more activities and a lot more things on the Ethereum blockchain. And decentralized finance is one of them. Decentralized finance are these computer-based companies. They're not centralized, they're decentralized finance. It's almost like having your own bank account. I use one called Compound Finance, but there are many others like Aave. And it allows you to basically save your wealth on this platform. And you're able to do things based on what the system will allow you to do in the smart contract. But more than anything, it cuts out the middleman. So what happens, as Mr. Ivey says, I buy residential properties to rent. And I've done that over the years. I'm a commercial real estate appraiser along with being a professor, but I also buy rental property. And I had a real estate agent from East St. Louis call me with an opportunity for the kind of properties I'm looking for. I buy distressed kind of don't wanters where people are motivated to sell. So what I decided to do was by using decentralized finance, and some of these terms you may not understand because we don't have a lot of time, and I'm just going to kind of give you a highlight, sort of like a 30,000 foot view of this. And I get the details, so we could do details another time, hopefully. But I just want to kind of give you a quick overview. So imagine if you're going to buy a rental property, normally you would maybe go to a bank, and then you have to fill out an application, make sure your credit is good and your credit report has a certain number to it. And you have to go ask for permission to borrow money, even if you have money in the savings account at the bank, right? So you have to ask for permission. Here, with decentralized finance, I control my own savings account, and I'm able to borrow instantly within a range a certain amount of money. So when this opportunity came, I told the real estate agent that I'm willing to submit an offer, all cash. I can close within 2 weeks, subject to an inspection. And the owners were motivated, and they wanted to close quickly. They wanted all cash, so they were willing to give me a discount. I needed my inspector to go out there and inspect the property. And then what I did is I used my cryptocurrency as collateral and borrowed against my crypto within minutes. Because using decentralized finance, the computer, once you meet the requirements, will automatically do it. I then sent the money over to my bank. My bank then forwarded the money the next day to the closing attorney so I could prove that I had the funds, all the money, to close, which I did in 2 weeks. Now, here's the interesting thing. When you borrow using decentralized finance, there is an annual interest rate, and you pay interest basically daily, right? And that interest rate fluctuates. But let's say it's about 5% a year, but it's charging you interest on a daily basis. But here's the beauty of it. There is no monthly payment. That's right. There is no monthly payment. The balance just keeps growing at whatever that interest rate is on a daily basis. So if you're at 5% a year, if I had a calculator, I could calculate what that interest rate would be and the amount per that particular day. But here's the other side. Without a mortgage payment, I have a rental piece of property in which I have a tenant in there who's paying me every month. And the only thing that I'm obligated to really pay is the annual taxes and the annual real estate payment. The rest, when I collect that money, if I want to, I can pay the interest on the loan, or I can pay some of the principal, or I can let it sit there. And as long as my collateral, right, my savings is high enough, I'm in pretty good shape, which is what I did. So let's say for numbers, I bought this property for $50,000. I had $100,000 of Ethereum in my savings account. I borrowed the $50,000 within minutes, sent it over to my bank, and then forwarded it to the closing attorney. So in the meanwhile, I then close on the deal. It just so happens I have a tenant that's paying me $1,000 a month. So he's paying me $12,000 a year. $2,000 of that goes for taxes and insurance. So I'm really netting about $10,000, of which, of course, I pay for any maintenance on it. But basically, that $10,000 I can use to either go towards the $50,000 plus interest, or what I do is I just take that and buy more crypto with it. And the $50,000 is growing, but my cryptocurrency is growing even faster. And so I'm ending up with a really good cash flow. And the second issue is, according to the banks, kind of like I call it the old way, they think I own that property free and clear, because I do. My loan is on the cryptocurrency. So one of the things I did was go to a local bank and I got a line of credit for $40,000. I'm not using it, but I have it there for an emergency. I have it if I want to buy another piece of property. I have it if I want to even buy some cryptocurrency, let's say Bitcoin during its run. But it just isn't amazing how if you are your own bank and you get rid of the middleman, it drops your expenses and it creates opportunities that you really never had before. And that's why when I was watching a video today on this guy I follow on YouTube, in which BlackRock and the rest of them are talking about this real world assets, how you'll be able to take real estate and all other kind of physical assets and take the ownership of it and be able to convert them into coins and put them on the blockchain, or convert the ownership into NFTs and sell, lease, or rent ownership and create cash flow. So at this point, I'm trying to learn how to do those things. And I tell everybody, it's a long-term process. I started teaching this back in 2014, and I'm slowly but surely learning different things. So not only am I learning about DeFi, but I'm also learning about, as I had mentioned earlier on another podcast, crypto bots. Let me talk about this for a minute, especially us baby boomers. I'm a science fiction guy, especially Star Trek. I'm a big Captain Kirk fan. And I remember watching science fiction. We all knew that robots would be coming. And our assumption was that the robots would be owned by the corporations. And then those corporations would replace humans. But I see an opportunity for why couldn't people own their own robots and then rent them out to companies to work for them and create additional cash flow? If that's possible, why not have physical robots, but what about virtual robots? Virtual robots that you could put out on the blockchain called crypto bots that sit out there 24/7, 365, looking for inefficiencies in the market, looking for opportunities to make a few dollars for you every day. So if you had a crypto bot out there on the blockchain, a lot of people tell me, well, yeah, but everybody's going to be doing it. That may be. But in the meanwhile, there are many blockchains out there, and there are many thousands of pairs of coins. So it's not just Bitcoin, it's not just Ethereum, it's not just Solana. There are other blockchains out there where a bot could sit, and there are many pairs of currencies that a bot could follow. So if you had a bot out there and it was making maybe just $5 a day for you, just looking for opportunities 24/7, 365, and when it makes those opportunities, it makes a little money for it. Well, if you could have one, why couldn't you have 100? And if you had 100 making $5 a day for you, that's $500 a day. That's not too bad. So I decided one of the things I'm doing is a young lady in high school that I know her dad teaches what's called Python, the kind of programming language. And I'm learning how to create my own bot. And then there are certain systems out there where you can join their organization and use their bots to make money. I'm still kind of so-so on that. But I find so many opportunities out there in crypto, and it's so early. And it just take your time and learn at your speed, however you feel comfortable. But the more you learn, the more opportunities that you'll see out there. And I tell people all the time, it's important to constantly learn. So not only do I teach classes, but I'm constantly taking classes also. Like I said, I've got a young lady, a senior in high school, and I'm taking a class from her. So it doesn't matter what generation they're from, doesn't matter anything. I just want to learn. And I want to see if I can then take that knowledge and convert it into an income stream. Because eventually I might retire. And when that happens, I wouldn't mind using cryptocurrency to create a stream of income for me, or a couple of streams of income that could help me with my retirement time. And so I'm really excited about it, and I'm excited to be with here tonight to talk about that. So
All right.
that's basically what I wanted to say to people, that just keep learning, keep getting out there, and there's so many opportunities. Just don't stop, and you'll find something that you'll enjoy, and it's fun. Like I tell people, I never worked a day in my life. I enjoy what I'm doing. I enjoy crypto. I enjoy real estate. I enjoy commercial appraising. I enjoy teaching. So people tell me, when am I going to retire? Now that I'm 68, and I tell people I'm not retiring. I'm going all the way to the pearly gates working. As a matter of fact, when I get to the pearly gates, I'm going to tell them about crypto and what's going on out there. And so with that, I'm going to kick it back to Mr. Ivey.
All right. Thank you, Professor, for that information. You told me something new there with the bots.
Yeah.
That is very, very smart. I mean, I've been hearing about AI agents and how artificial intelligence and things are ready to assist and take over. But that is very, very interesting. And I love how you said you're learning. You're still learning, no matter how much you've learned, and you're already applying that knowledge, but you're still willing to learn more information and you're sharing that information. And we have to talk again because last time we spoke, I put together a program that you was looking for, where we can put your courses, because people are going to ask, how can I get more information and learn from the professor? And I have the platform in place now, that we can make that happen for you. But
Great.
if you can stick around to the end,
Yeah.
if when we do Q&A, if the audience has any questions for you.
Great. I'd love to.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Now let's get into our lesson for tonight. And I'm a little nervous on this one. See, because doing the last two lessons, I've done those for years. So it's like secondhand nature. But this one, not only is it a new lesson, it is the newest of the new because it was our community that actually requested that I create these courses. I had a different list of courses that was going to come out this year. Decentralization was not on my radar screen, even though I have courses on decentralization. In fact, I have a whole course called DeFi, decentralized finance. But then I realized that most people still don't fully grasp what decentralization is and how it's the foundation that's going to impact everything that we do in this crypto space. So I wrote courses just on decentralization. My only concern is I think I might have done what I did when I wrote courses for my very first time, made them a little bit too advanced. So tonight will allow me to know if this went over your head or if you guys get it. Now, most of you guys are pretty versed in crypto now if you've been a part of our community. So you might be able to get it, but I'll enjoy the feedback that you guys can give me on how you feel about these. But this is the first one. It is called "What is Decentralization?" Centralization is what we are already living under. We work for a company that is controlled by somebody. We live in a country that is controlled by a government. We bank in a financial institution that is controlled by somebody that's centralized. Bitcoin is the first decentralized form of currency on the planet that is not controlled, manipulated by anybody, and it is fully under your control. So we need to understand what decentralization is and how it's going to take us from Web 2.0, where we currently are right now, into the future of the internet, which is Web 3.0. So what is decentralization? In the crypto sphere, decentralization is one of the core principles. Network nodes that all hold an equal share of control, and there is no defined central authority. Decentralized organizations function based on this model without a central authority that enforces regulations. Multiple decision makers are granted equal authority. to manage the system and work toward a common goal. Decentralized organizations are one of the two major types of organizational structures, along with centralized organizations. And one way I was explaining to my mom, and I always like to break things in a way my mom can understand, I said, if you think about even the US government from the very beginning, the rebellion from the English crown was that we didn't want to be beholden to one central entity called the king living across the pond telling us what to do and how to do it. And the articles the how our government was set up in three separate but equal branches of government dispersed the authority. So it was never in the hand of one individual that could control you or become an authoritarian or become a king. We fought against that to have three separate. That is a somewhat form of trying to decentralize our way of governance. So you start from there. Now, our government is still centralized, but that is one form of the checks and balances of power. Companies that create franchises for expansion can be seen as decentralized in traditional business organizations. So think about it. How many McDonald's are there around the world? Or Subways or Wingstops? How many does Rick Ross or Shaquille O'Neal owns these stores? Well, they are decentralized franchises. Individuals are able to buy the franchise, open up a new branch, and make independent decisions regarding the infrastructure and management of the company. Now, there are certain corporate guidelines that they follow, but they're all independent. Decentralized digital systems like blockchain-based cryptocurrencies run thanks to independent nodes that maintain the entire blockchain network. And we covered on Monday night the what blockchain is in detail. Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum run on networks, while the nodes run consensus algorithms like proof of work, and that's Bitcoin, and proof of stake to record all transactions. I'm going to ask you guys a question, and really the inner circle. What crypto token out there, one of the top ones, is running on proof of stake? Type it in the chat box. To record all transaction data, verify it, and add new blocks to the blockchain. Ooh, you guys are on it. Look at that. Ethereum. It used to be proof of work. They recently moved to proof of stake. Decentralized organizations may be more stable, democratic, and transparent than their centralized counterparts. If the central authority malfunctions, it immediately negatively impacts the whole organization. However, if one or several nodes of a decentralized system experience failure, the rest of the network can still continue operations. Decentralized systems may struggle due to a lack of a singular unified vision. Furthermore, the equal distribution of power may lead to responsibilities not being clearly defined if not done right. This can have negative effects on network efficiency. An example of inefficiency can be the energy consumption required to keep blockchain networks running. In 2021, Bitcoin required more than 90 terawatt hours of electricity, which is comparable to Pakistan's energy consumption, while processing speeds were at 4 to 7 transactions per second. What about centralization versus decentralization? Well, centralized and decentralized structures are polar opposites. A centralized structure implies control of the central entity by people who have the power to manage, control, and oversee it. One example would be a nation's currency, which is managed by a central bank. Decentralization is the opposite of that, where no one person or entity owns, manages, or controls the network or structure. So that is important to understand when people say, what's the difference between this and Bitcoin and cryptocurrency? That is the major difference. Not all cryptocurrencies are decentralized. That's an important thing to note too. What I said in Inner Circle, you got to know the difference between a cryptocurrency, a CBDC, and a stable coin. Not all cryptocurrencies are even decentralized as well. And stable coins and CBDCs, some can be decentralized, some cannot be. So you have to understand this difference. So not all cryptocurrencies are decentralized, although the most popular ones like Bitcoin and Ethereum's Ether are. Unlike centralized currencies, decentralized cryptocurrencies are not regulated by central banks, but by their programming code, and the monetary policies are regulated by their respective communities. How does decentralization work in blockchain? So, how can cryptocurrencies operate without a governing authority to keep order? Bitcoin's peer-to-peer public blockchain offers a solution by using a cryptographic protocol known as proof of work. In other words, Bitcoin is not just created out of thin air like this is. It's not just on a printing press when Jerome Powell says, yeah, we need to put more money in circulation, which is going to impact inflation. No, Bitcoin is a reward for work being done. Now, who could tell me in the chat box what work is being done that the reward is Bitcoin? Who knows the answer to that? A blockchain consists of blocks of data with information about transactions that is used to prove the validity of the next block. Bitcoin users can add blocks to the blockchain through validation by proof of work. You guys got it right, mining blocks. Since the blockchain is public, it can be viewed by everyone, and anyone can add a block by providing a proof of work for a transaction. The main reason blockchains are decentralized is to avoid putting control in the hands of a few or a country's central bank. That's the main motivation behind the embrace of cryptocurrency in the first place, to take banks out of the equation and have true peer-to-peer transactions. Decentralized blockchains are designed to be unalterable, and once the data is entered, it is irreversible. New data can be tacked on, but the old data can't be edited or changed in any way. So, for example, I haven't taught about this, but we talk about forks, where Bitcoin forks into a separate blockchain, Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin SV. Now, even though they're going in a different direction, at one point they have a shared history. So both blockchains at a certain point can still see the same transactions until they separate and they split off. But you can't change those. All you can do is add onto it some new transactions. So for Bitcoin, this means transactions are permanently recorded and viewable by anyone. Think of it as feedback on eBay taken to the next level. Not all digital currency is decentralized. There are also cryptocurrencies that use private, centralized systems where only a select few people have the power to add new blocks and check the validity of transactions. These tend to be used in privacy-oriented industries like healthcare and finance. Who could tell me what is one of the most controversial tokens on the market that many in the crypto space claim it to be a centralized token? It's a top token. Type it in the chat box. A blockchain usually exhibits one of the following levels of decentralization. Look at you guys. You got it. XRP, Ripple. Fully centralized, entirely controlled and managed by a single central authority. That is, for example, Trump's token or JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon's token that isn't even available to the public, only the wealthy inside of JP Morgan. Semi-decentralized, controlled and managed by multiple authorities. Fully decentralized, no middleman or central authorities to manage or administer the network. That same can be true when it comes to smart contracts. There are some fully centralized smart contracts, and there are some semi-decentralized and fully decentralized smart contracts. There are several subcategories of decentralization, including the following. Physical decentralization involves geographical dispersion of blockchain servers across the globe as much as possible. So no single party will own the network, and the loss of physical servers for whatever reason won't impact the network. Then you have transactional decentralization, is specifically to improve the efficiency and transparency of B2B networks. Through the use of unalterable ledgers and smart contracts, a decentralized transactional system can provide a more secure, consensus-based environment for executing, verifying, and recording transactions. Political decentralization is more concerned with how many people or organizations control the system rather than the number of servers. The fewer people or organizations controlling the network, the less decentralized it is. What are the benefits of decentralization? Well, the benefits of decentralization are numerous. They include the following. Trust is a given. We talked about trust last night. From a bank to an eBay seller, knowing and trusting the other party in a transaction is essential. But no one needs to know or trust the other party in a decentralized blockchain network because the distributed ledger technology used to record the transaction can't be tampered with, in theory. And we also talked about that last night. If anyone tries, the majority of the network members will reject it. So even if Elon Musk is crazy enough to spend billions of dollars to tamper with one block that's only giving a reward of 3.125 Bitcoin, it will be quickly rejected and discarded by all the rest. It's just so he can brag to say he did it. But it's widely expensive to try to pull something like that. Increased data accuracy. Businesses frequently silo their data, and it often has to be reconciled one way or another. Every time data is manipulated, there is the possibility of an invalid entry or data loss. In a decentralized blockchain, data isn't siloed and is copied from one ledger to the next, thus ensuring its integrity. Like we talked about, you trying to return your dress to the store, and you lost your receipt, and they're like, sorry, without your receipt. Well, there is no losing the receipt because it's on millions of devices. It's proof that it took place. Downtime is reduced. Decentralization can help to mitigate failures because there is no single point of failure. Everything is distributed. So if one source is unavailable or there is a system bottleneck, others can pick up the slack. I love Professor Sistrunk brought up Star Trek because I'm a Trekkie. And if you watch the latest episodes of Picard, there's something called, I think they're called the synths, like Data, where it was not an android, but like an artificial intelligence, but like an AI. And their system was decentralized. So even if you took out the leader, the others are able to still pick up the pace and not even skip a beat because there's no single point that they can actually attack, which made them so dangerous and efficient. I don't want to give a spoiler alert on that one. Transparency. Decentralized blockchains are available to the public, so they are transparent and everyone can see them. Let me use another modern version. Age of Ultron from Marvel. Remember that movie? And Ultron, as soon as he was on the net, and it didn't matter how many copies of the robots that they destroyed, all that needed was a piece of him still on the net, and he would survive. So decentralized blockchains are available to the public, so they are transparent and everyone can see them. Full control. The blockchain's members or users, not a central, sometimes faceless authority, are in control of their information and who can see or access it. Now, let me use a modern, and I mean really modern issue here. I want to use the Department of Doge. We all know that Donald Trump appointed Elon Musk to head Doge. However, to avoid having to answer any congressional questions and committee hearings, they say, well, Elon Musk technically is not in charge of Doge. He's just a special government employee. So he's not technically running Doge. Well, who is actually running Doge? Well, we're not disclosing that just yet. See, this is how you can break up whether something is being decentralized or centralized, or remember the middle name, partly decentralized. Immutability. This is the common term used to describe the fact that data contained in a decentralized blockchain is hard to alter because each alteration must be confirmed by each node in the blockchain network. Security. Proponents say decentralized blockchains are far more secure than centralized blockchains because they employ encryption to protect data. They use either symmetric, secret key encryption, or asymmetric, public key encryption. Now, for my Diamond members, the last Diamond class, we talked about security on centralized exchanges. Our next Diamond class, next Tuesday night, we're going to be talking about security on decentralized exchanges. And decentralized exchanges are far more secure than centralized ones. Just the latest Bybit hack shows you that one. You know, what happened with a centralized agency. What are the downsides of decentralization? Everything has a downside, and that includes decentralized blockchains. The negatives include the following. Cost. A decentralized network can often be more expensive than a centralized one because of the need for more systems and people to run them. Lack of consensus. There's something to be said for a single voice of authority. In a decentralized blockchain, anyone can have their say on an issue, and they often do. You know that old saying, there's too many generals in the house, too many cooks in the kitchen. The democratic process can be a messy one and consensus hard to reach sometimes. Okay, I'm going to ask another quick question. What happens on a blockchain if consensus cannot be reached? What happens moving forward? Type that in the chat box. Catherine was quick. She's right. A fork happens. Downsides of decentralization, like lack of clarity. This goes hand in hand with the consensus problem. When many people have their say on an issue, it is important that they are clear and articulate their position. A lack of clarity can lead to paralysis. Lack of discipline. It is easy to get lazy when you don't have a boss to report to. This is when I'm going to be starting up soon again with my Ivy League Coaching Academy about entrepreneurship and mindset and personal development and self-improvement. And there's a reason why whenever I share my story when it comes to MoveQuest and I talk about sleeping, that when I fired my boss and started working for myself, I thought that I can sleep in on a Monday now, right? I don't have to get up and go to work and answer to anybody. But in actuality, I was getting less sleep than ever, 4.5 to 5 hours sleep, because I'm willing to work harder for myself than I ever did on a job. So it takes discipline to be an entrepreneur, discipline and consistency and a game plan. So that's what happens when you don't have somebody to answer to. You can get lazy when you don't have a boss to report to. These networks operate somewhat on an honor system where everyone involved is expected to do their job. If they don't, the entire network can suffer. Examples of decentralized blockchain. As a basic rule of thumb, any blockchain network that is not corporate owned is likely a decentralized network. Blockchains with corporate ownership behind them, like Coinbase, Kraken, and Binance, are centralized around the company. The most popular cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin and Ether, are decentralized. Now, if we talk about Ripple, XRP, there's a company called Ripple and then a token called XRP. And the company wants to present that the token is decentralized, that they don't control that. But they're using that token for the company, for everything happening in the company. And the crypto community says, no, 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 no. You're still controlling that. You still can manipulate it. So that's still up for debate. In addition to cryptocurrencies, decentralized blockchain applications, or dApps, are a fast-growing sector of the blockchain space. dApps are applications that are developed on a blockchain ecosystem. They cover a variety of industries, including trading exchanges, finance, and online games. Ethereum, one of the oldest and most established blockchain platforms, has also been considered the most decentralized blockchain, as well as secure, immutable, and permissionless. Ethereum allows anyone to create and deploy smart contracts and dApps without requiring a third party. Ethereum has recently migrated from the proof of work consensus. I should have asked that question after I did this slide, but that's okay. You guys already knew the answer to it. Migrated from the proof of work consensus mechanism to proof of stake, which is more energy friendly. Proof of work requires significant computational effort to obtain the proof and can be expensive. Proof of stake uses much less power and is reportedly much faster than proof of work. However, critics say the change has made Ethereum more centralized. Now, MoveQuest MQT, what is that? You've got the proof of work, proof of stake. What is MoveQuest? Type it in the chat box. In conclusion, now you know what decentralization is, why the blockchain system needs it, and what advantages and disadvantages it has. You guys got that? Proof of physical activity, because that's what's powering it. In the digital market, virtual coins are mostly decentralized assets that were made for the financial freedom of ordinary users from commercial organizations. However, now we can see the appearance of cryptocurrencies made on a centralized basis. The most striking example here is Ripple Coin with their system of gateways owned by the founders, or USDT stablecoin. It's quite profitable to invest in them, but the reliability of such investments is questionable. That is why a huge number of independent market users advise buying decentralized blockchain-based cryptocurrencies that can bring a revolution to the current financial system. As a disclaimer, this information is intended for educational and training purposes only and should not be construed as investment advice. As with all financial decisions, you should contact your licensed financial advisor before investing in any financial instrument. Oh, and that is the first lesson in decentralization. So again, that's my first time teaching that lesson, and I'm still iffy on it, but I'll see feedback from you guys. Did you learn from it? Did it make sense? We're going to move into the Q&A section. So in the Q&A, I'm going to have Ms. Casa handle that, and you guys will be able to ask not just me questions, but we have Professor Sistrunk here. You'll be able to ask him questions. But unfortunately, those of you on YouTube, I allowed the live streaming to continue on the Q&A side Monday and Tuesday night, but I have to cut it off tonight. To participate, you've got to be with the cool kids here with us on our Zoom. You got to be in our VIPs in our inner circle. If you want to be there, especially for tomorrow night, because tomorrow night is going to be one of the most important lessons that I ever teach. You can go to HTTPS. Let me put the link in here on the YouTube side. ILCA Crypto News.com. ILCA Crypto News.com. It's $49 a month to be a part of our inner circle, so you can join us on this side. But I thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us even on our YouTube side to learn something new. And we invite you back tomorrow night. Why? Tomorrow night, we're going to be talking about not just wallets, but we're going to talk about wallet security. Even in our crypto talk this morning, three of the top top topics in the news has been about hacking. The Lazarus Group in North Korea. We've got Bybit hack and $1.4 billion being stolen. The average individual who gets their crypto stolen has lost $22.5 thousand per person. So if you want to move into this space and you want to build your crypto portfolio, you cannot neglect security. Even the basics. Someone in our MoveQuest community lost $17,000 on something I cover free in the challenge. So come back tomorrow night. You want to invite everybody to that. Everybody should be on that one tomorrow night. So with that, thank you guys on YouTube for being here. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. I'm going to stop the live stream.